Okay, I think we'll go ahead and get started. I am Angela Yeager, Communications Officer for Paid Leave Oregon. Today's speaker is Paid Leave Oregon Director Karen Humelbaugh. Oregon Employment Department Director David Gerstenfeld is also on hand to answer questions. So just a couple of quick notes. This call is being recorded and we will post the recording online and send out the link after the briefing. We will take questions after opening remarks from Karen. And if you have any technical issues or difficulties, please send an email to us at communications@employ.oregon.gov and we'll assist you. So now I'm going to turn it over to Paid Leave Oregon Director Karen Humelbaugh. Go ahead, Karen.
Thanks, Angela, and hello, everyone. I am pleased to be here today and to share some more data and information now that paid leave benefits officially started on September 3rd. This means that it's the first week people can take leave covered by Paid Leave Oregon, and we expect the first payments to go out late next week. Here are the latest numbers through Friday of last week, September 3rd. We've received 10,222 applications, and 3,142 of those came in just last week. We've approved 1,828 applications, and our average call wait time remains low and is at 23 seconds. Last week, we took 4,734 calls. Now that the program is officially in operation, we are taking a look at our pending applications, and as people are filing new ones every day. We're watching closely to see what we can do to help people get their benefits as quickly as possible. One thing we've seen is that many of the claims are taking longer to process and they are slowed down because people do not attach the supporting documents we need for their specific type of leave. So we really want to emphasize that people should go to our employee toolkit on our website and review the checklist and the employee guidebook so that they're prepared with the correct documents when they apply for benefits. We also want to remind employers that they have a very important role in making sure their employees have the time and support they need to care for themselves and their loved ones when they need it most. When employees apply for paid leave benefits, the employer receives a letter in the mail notifying them of their employee's application. Employers will also see some changes in their Francis Online account, including notifications and questionnaires. This includes confirming that the person applying is currently working for that organization. We are encouraging employers to respond in a timely manner so we may have what we need to process the employee's benefits application quickly and accurately. The rollout is going well, due in part to our preparation for many different scenarios. We continue this preparation as we look at our forecasts and explore various options we have researched to assure long-term sustainability of the program. We've analyzed other states and their experiences with paid leave programs, but really no two states are the same, and the individuals in Oregon are different than other states. Therefore, we don't know for sure how many benefit applications we are going to receive, what type of individuals will apply in the coming months, or whether they are low or high wage earners, and how long they are going to apply to take benefits. Our responsibility as an agency and as a program is to make sure that we are watching all data carefully for any shifts needed in our processes, policies, rules, or even statutory changes to assure that the program remains strong financially and in our commitment to customer service. We administer the paid leave program, but if any changes to the law need to happen, those would need to be driven by the legislature. So we will continue to inform both our advisory committee and legislators of our data as it relates to the benefit outputs. And if any changes are needed, even as early as this 2024 legislative session, we will be available to assist in any strategies. Before we end my comments, at least, I want to note one important topic that we have been asked about a lot this week. We want to remind the public that benefits should be paid about September 13th of next week. So for those claims that have been approved in the first few weeks of our program, those will happen next week. Our focus right now is to continue processing and communicating out important news to the public, such as the advice on uploading documents that I talked about earlier, so that claims can be approved quickly. As always, the best and fastest way to communicate with us is through an individual's Francis Online account. This expedites all actions. So if an individual is not sure if their claim has been approved, they should sign into their Francis Online account and check their communications inbox. This will let them know if they are missing any information. You can also look at your account dashboard to know if your claim has been approved and what your weekly benefit amount is. And so with that, I think I'm handing it back to you, Angela, for questions.
Great. Thank you, Karen. Appreciate it. So now we are opening the lines to members of the media to ask questions. Please make sure to state to whom you are directing your question. And again, as a reminder, limit yourself to one question and one follow-up question. If you're joining us by phone, make sure to hit *6 to unmute yourself. And if for whatever reason you don't get your questions answered today, please email us. Okay, I'm going to wait and see if I have any hands up. And yes, so we have a question from Kyra Buckley with OPB. Go ahead, Kyra. I can't hear you yet, Kyra. Do you have audio? I see she's unmuted.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yep, you gotcha.
Thank you. Sorry, everybody.
problem.
Learning new technology. I'm wondering how many businesses, if we have a sense of how many businesses have been approved to administer their own programs, if they've applied to not be a part of the paid leave and instead have their own. Do we know how many?
We do have a number. I don't have it with me. We can get that to you. I do know that there are 15% of all total employees in the workforce are covered by those equivalent plans. And 18% of those are through large employers and 1% are through small employers, but we can also just get you that raw number.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you. And then one just other quick, and sorry, this isn't quite a follow-up. It's a little bit different of a topic, but I'm just wondering if you could quickly walk me through what happens for temporary employees. My understanding is that it's a similar process for them to apply. Is that correct?
The process is the same for any W-2 wage earner in the state. So that's correct. They would go and create a Francis Online account and they would fill out just the basic demography that's needed and information about the places they've worked. And then they could go and file a claim inside that Francis Online. It doesn't really matter whether you're a temporary, part-time, full-time, the process is the same.
Awesome. Thanks for taking my questions.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kyra. Okay, I'm just going in order on my screen here. Next, I see Albert James with KEZI. And go ahead, Albert, as soon as you're unmuted.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, besides people not uploading their supporting documentation, I'm wondering, are there any other challenges that are slowing down the approval process for those applications?
That seems to be one of the biggest ones. I will also say that we've had a pretty steep learning curve for staff. So we've been doing a lot of training and practicing, making sure everybody feels really confident in approving those claims. There are a lot of different options and complications inside individual claims. And so making sure that we're following our operating procedures. And I think those are really the big themes we're seeing, quite honestly.
Okay. Great, thank you. Next, we have Peter Wong. And as soon as you're unmuted, go ahead, Peter. Thank you.
Okay. This is for anyone who can answer. You've had 8 months to build up contributions. Will that be enough to at least start paying the initial claims? And I know you have obligations to repay some of the startup costs, although I assume that paying off the claims first would be the priority.
We actually already paid our general fund loan back. We did that at the end of our biennia, which was in June of this year. So we are clean on that general fund loan that you referenced. And we had to make a decision based on Senate Bill 31 required us to make a solvency decision by August 11th. And so we did make that decision on July 17th, I believe. where we did all the analysis on what we anticipated would be the initial benefits filed and our ability to pay those out. So that is our solvency requirement that we felt like we were meeting, and that's why we were able to open up the benefits on August 14th.
Okay, one other quick question. I know you haven't discussed yet what changes you might want to request from the 2024 short session of the legislature, but when might you put those forth, since obviously that session starts in early February?
Yeah, we'll continue to work with legislators if there are statutory changes that need to be made. Obviously, that is right around the corner. We don't have enough data yet to really understand fully what that data picture is, but we also don't want there to be any surprises. So we're continuing to share with them as the data rolls in.
Okay, thanks.
Mhm.
Okay, thanks, Peter. And next up, we have Diane with the Statesman Journal. Go ahead, Diane.
Hi there, this is for Karen, and I just you mentioned the average wait call wait time for calls is still low and new ones being filed every day. I just kind of wanted to get a sense on how it's shifted from that initial, I imagine, volume to now, and kind of how staff has been trained or is going to be moving forward past that initial period.
It's a great question. And we did see a shift from sort of those first weeks. And then this week, when the program officially started on the 3rd, we're having sort of like 0 wait times leading up to this week. And now we're sort of averaging like a 2-minute wait time. And so we're still in a really good place with those wait times. We are able to adjust and shift staff to work the phones or to work claims or to work those email tickets that we get in. And so all of our folks in customer service are trained in all 3 options. That way we can pull them into the phones when the volume goes up. So far, that's been a really successful strategy for us.
Thank you. And then I just had one other question. You mentioned kind of making sure or wanting to make sure employers are responding to these requests, with appropriate timing. And I'm just kind of curious on what the approach is if an employer isn't responding maybe as quickly as they should be, or, kind of what the steps are to make sure these requests are being answered.
So the employer does get notified, and we ask them for some information about the employee, primarily if they're working there and if they have given notice about their paid leave, that they are intending to take paid leave. That happens in both a letter, but it also happens in their Francis Online account. And so if employers are looking into their Francis Online account, they'll see it kind of both ways. We'd encourage employers to check that sort of weekly, or if they know an employee has applied, that they can go and look for that. That expedites the claim. But also, if we have not heard from an employer in a 2-week period, then we're going to start moving the claim regardless, so that it is not a sort of a punishment or something punitive to the claimant.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Diane. I think we have, let's see, question here from Christine with the Oregonian. Please go ahead, Christine.
Okay. Oh, thanks. So I was in the advisory meeting yesterday, and I noticed, so I was looking at the slides, and I noticed that it looks like that the average request time for leave is higher than forecast. Or forecasted, which potentially means costs are higher, while contributions look a little lower. Will that be a problem?
3 weeks of data is a little bit of I won't be able to express a trend for sure, but we did share that with our advisory committee membership, just because we want to make sure we're keeping them really informed, along with our legislators who are interested in this as well. Right now, the family and medical leave are actually coming in almost identical to forecasting. Bonding leave looks to be about a week higher than we anticipated, and safe leave is a lot higher than we anticipated, but we're one of only 3 states with safe leave programs, and we're the only ones with a pretty comprehensive package there. So, and those are probably 1% of our claims, so are not going to have a really large impact on the trust. all that being said, this is exactly why we want to keep an eye on all those data points, whether it be the amount of wages going out, the amount of time people are applying for, and then the actual just numbers of claims we're getting. And we are looking at that literally on the daily basis so that we make sure that we can see when those trends emerge. It's just a little early right now.
Got it. Thanks.
Any other questions? And Diane, I don't know if your hand is still up from the previous question or if you have another one. Oh, your
Nope,
hand went
I
down.
just-
So
Yeah,
okay,
I forgot to
got
lower
it.
it.
No problem. Any other questions? Okay, I'm not seeing any. I just want to make sure, give folks a second. Okay. Okay, well, thank you again. As a reminder, this call was recorded. We will send out the link to reporters who RSVP'd. We will also post it on our media page, which also has our dashboard with our data that we discussed earlier. Thank you again for participating today and as always for your partnership to keep Oregonians informed. We appreciate you. Thank you.